Nina is an artist, as I think I mentioned in the leaflets have gone out, and she works from a studio in Bermondsey. Her poetry has been published in The Cannon's Mouth, but her paintings have been exhibited internationally with works held in private collections in the UK, the USA, China, the Czech Republic and the Ukraine. So, all-round talent, and we're going to hear predominantly her poetry today, but Nina, I'm sure, will be also, as I say, talking about art and artists in her work. So when we first heard her at the Poetry Cafe, Pete and I were very impressed by those poems, and we're going to hear more today. So, Nina Baxter.
Hello. So I wanted to say a little bit more about poetry for me, because obviously that's what we're here for. But I struggle with a couple of chronic mental health problems, which just over a year ago got particularly bad, and my doctor said I just needed to stop working, so I had to take a massive time out from my career, my artwork, and found solace in poetry because I just needed a creative outlet that couldn't do the work I would normally do. So all of these poems have been written in this last year, and you can probably tell when I start reading them they fluctuate completely, like my mood does, from depths of despair to being blissfully happy. So here we go. The first one is For My Plants. You really pulled me through. Just watching you as I lay in bed, brushed my teeth, soaked in the bath. You gave me a reason to keep going, to look after you, tend to your needs, keep you alive. When the days crumbled into one another, having lost all concept of time, barely able to distinguish when one's awake or asleep, at least I could watch you grow. And what a simple pleasure that is, to watch stems grow tall, new leaves uncurl, fighting their way to the light. I couldn't die, because I wanted to see you thrive. I needed to feel alive, and for that, I owe you everything. And the second one was written in response to the brilliant Lee Krasner exhibition at the Barbican Centre, if any of you want to see that. I think of you, Lee Krasner. I think of you, Lee Krasner, when I'm in my studio, covering old paintings with gesso. Every act of creation is first an act of destruction, so said the master, Pablo Picasso. This process of renewal, my personal growth, I celebrate the act of regeneration, building myself back up, brick by burdensome brick. Through recovery, I embark on my restoration. I think of you, Lee Krasner, the need for reinvention, a mark of your unfailing authenticity, tearing up your own work, collaging it into something else, revealing your spirit in all its complexity. It's not new, this idea, needing to change direction, forcing your way through the creative block. Gerhard Richter cut up and burnt 60 paintings on a rubbish heap before taking stock. I think of you, Lee Krasner, as I fight to free myself from the shackles of centuries of patriarchy. Like Louise Bourgeois had Louison, Lena became Lenore and then Lee. Women turned to androgyny and ambiguity. Something inside the work speaks to the artist, telling you what to do, how to proceed. From monochromatic to paintings in full colour, it's as if I can see again, finally freed. I think of you, Lee Krasner, after a period of mourning, when I pick up a brush and start to heal. This path is not linear, but liberation comes with acceptance, the power to open yourself up and begin to feel. I think of you, Lee Krasner. This one's called My Great Protector. I don't like to share, so why do I have to so often? It's not that I don't get my way, but that what I get is not mine, only borrowed. Pinned down by your weight, it's like the song says, you already belong to her, at least you said so. Kiss me again, your rough hands so delicate admire my face. I don't want to give you back. But I've thought about this before, and now my heart rate races as the temptation spikes. Your soft caress, I feel like a four-leaf clover, freshly plucked and easily crushed beneath your savage form. But you would never hurt me, my great protector, ready to stamp on the boys so fickle and frail. You can't bear to see me broken, and I've been fractured for so long. But tonight, you're the light that floods the city, fire and warmth to thaw my cold hands as we walk until morning. And this is another one in response. This is to a triptych of paintings by Miro, which I'd seen many, many times before in reproductions and also in real life. They're in the Pompidou Centre in Paris. And I went on a 3-day trip to Paris where I just went to art galleries and I spent all my money on art books, and my dad asked me, how was it? Did you eat nice food? I said, I ate sandwiches. I spent all my money in the art shops. So this one is on seeing Juan Miro's blue triptych in the Pompidou. It's not often this happens, a punch in the gut, a lump in my throat, struck dumb, winded and on the verge of tears. Sitting in room 24, I feel the distinct heavy weight drop into my stomach. Blue, endless blue, infinite blue. I want to swim in your depths, an ocean of possibilities. Like D.T. Suzuki's Reservoir, this emptiness, so often mistaken for nothingness, but far from it. The canvas is alive with movement. I can hear the breath of every stroke. Just as in Rothko's chapel, where the vast surfaces reverberate like a drum, beaten by drops of rain, exposed to the elements. Here, the seagulls call and waves crash. You conceived of this cosmic space. I can see the planets and constellations, but I am by the sea, still rooted in this world. Your monumental presence, a reminder of my inconsequential size, an individual being, transient, anonymous. You have put me in my place, Miro. Do one more?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
So this one's called Your Aphrodite. And actually, on this trip to Paris, I was in the Rodin Museum looking around the gardens, and I'd just written this, and then I saw a sculpture which I thought was beautiful, and I hadn't seen it before, and then I looked and it was Aphrodite, and I thought that was very fitting. So I keep that in my mind with this one. Your Aphrodite. I wonder how you would feel if you knew how much you meant to me that night when our eyes met and you took me home. In the rain, we walked together, soaked. Like Botticelli's Venus, I rise, born from the spray, the start of a new life. No longer crumbling, cracked like dry earth, awaiting precipitation to fall on our bodies throughout the night. An unquenchable thirst, my skin against yours, limbs entwined, celebrating the end of the drought again and again. Hold me close, your Aphrodite. Do I already know you, so comfortable in your presence, safe in your embrace? I feel the sea foam touch my skin as your blue eyes wash over my body, but I know nothing about you besides the last few hours, when you appeared like an angel, heralding the start of the flood.
Thank you, Nina. Just thinking of Miro on a grey day like this brings flashes of colour into your mind, of course. So we'll be hearing more from Nina Baxter in the second half.